thank you guys so much for coming. My name is Matthew Mercer. I am, for those of you who haven't been in previous panels, or wandered in here because it looked like a good way to kill an hour. I'm an actor and a voice actor from Los Angeles. Originally from Florida. This is a small homecoming. But yes, I began my career on a small scale about 12 years ago. Began doing it professionally, solely professionally, for about 7 recent titles of release that you may know me from include looking at my Wikipedia.
Tigra on Thundercats.
Tigra on Thundercats on Cartoon Network. Anarchy and Batman Arkham Origins came out last year.
Kronk from Fire Emblem.
Kronk from Fire Emblem. I'm so bad at my actual credits. I should have just brought my picture. I have a picture of my setting table that has the characters on there. So I'm going to be that guy that pulls up my Wikipedia because I'm terrible at this.
Magi, you were Sinbad from Magi.
Let me do it. I want my credits. I wanted to do Stewart from Mad TV. No. Let me read it. Yeah, recent things. Levi in Attack on Titan, which I get my first line, my one line in tonight's episode on Toonami, so I'm excited about that. I guess it's airing now in the new, or I should say the last arc of Bleach. I'm Shukuro Tsukishima, the villain character in the final Bleach arc. Also, Kiritsugu Emiya in Fate Zero, K, the series K, I play Kuro Yatagami, Sinbad and Magi, Labyrinth of Magic. I've also took over for the voice of Kanji Tatsumi in Persona 4 with the animation and future Persona games. Let's see, for films stuff. I'm just gonna talk on this stuff up. Also, Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil Damnation, and other games that are coming out soon that I'm excited to talk about. So, but yeah, anyway, hello. This is a Q&A. So questions of any kind. They don't have to be necessarily video game or anime specific, just anything that's been curious. You're welcome to ask. I have no shame, so that works out well. But yeah, so primarily, just a little background on me too, aside from my career, I grew up a huge nerd. It's worked out pretty well. Cool. Still to this day, I remember getting my first Atari 2600, playing out of a number of really terrible old school games, Quest, the terrible ET game, the Empire Strikes Back game, Pitfall, the old classics. Moved on to my NES, in which I was introduced to true RPGs, such as the original Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy, the Super NES, which still to this day I will hold as the best system that's ever been released. I love all current gen systems and stuff, but Super Nintendo had the highest volume of quality RPGs. That's where my heart lies. So I spent a large majority of my middle school years. Every weekend going to the Blockbuster Video, back when they existed.
What's that?
Rent an RPG on Friday, try and beat it by Sunday when it was due.
Most time we didn't.
Yeah, so I went through like the Lufia series, the Fire series. Like I would just crank through as many as I could. So between video games and actual tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons and Shadowrun, Rifts, stuff like that. Like I'm a huge nerd. Works out pretty well. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess for the sake of interesting stories, silliness, and general chaos, until the hour's up, more folks come in and add the chaos, or we could all just stop here and eat candies in a little bit. Awesome. Plenty of candies. I'm not going to finish them all. Let's begin with some questions, shall we? Yes.
Are you excited for the new Super Smash Brothers?
Am I excited for the new Super Smash Brothers? Yes. As a fan of Smash Brothers series in general, I'm a big fighting game buff too. I used to be a big Street Fighter tournament player back when I was in high school.
Voice Street Fighter.
I know, and then that was kind of the cool thing about going into voiceover as a career, was I got to kind of be part of these series that I grew up playing. You know, I grew up with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. I grew up with Final Fantasy. I grew up with, Soul Calibur and stuff. So this is, being a part of Street Fighter was a really, really cool thing for me to do. But Smash Brothers in particular, I was a big fan of, to the point where I made an entire web series about it. For those who weren't here for the earlier conversations, web series called There Will Be Brawl that came out about 5 years ago on The Escapist. It's dark, it's twisted, live action take on the Nintendo universe. And it's, so yeah, I am super excited for Smash. What new characters I'm excited about? Wii Fit Girl. It's the strangest choice on Nintendo's part, but I admired the weird choice. Like, I was like, first they announced it, and I went, okay, and then I went, no, okay, yeah. That's
an actual combat fighter.
I know. Well, to me, it's just, it's the Luigi choice. Like, I'm a Luigi player because he's just so weird in Smash Brothers. Everyone else has like legitimately cool moves. Luigi is just off. I still have.
He has acid trip as his final smash.
I still have a theory. That Nintendo is slowly setting up Luigi to turn into the new villain. I'm gonna stick to this theory, just based on the fact that he's slowly losing his mind with each progressive game. Like all of his taunts in Smash Brothers are like rocking as a boat with his nose twitching and just kind of like muttering to himself, and he's just going crazy. And then when you unlock his Super Smash trophy, the description for the trophy it's like this long epic diatribe about how, after years of living in his brother's shadow, Luigi has finally embraced the darkness that is called for him. You're like, wait, what? What?
Yeah.
So yeah, I stand by the fact that I think Luigi will eventually become a villain, and I'm okay with that. So the Mario Brothers has that much more of a dark connotation.
Next Mario RPG.
I wish they'd do another Mario RPG. That was a great game.
Just put you in the forest for the rest of the game.
No, it's the Axum Rangers, the Power Ranger parody characters, and that was pretty fun. But yeah, so honestly, I'm excited they just announced Ike is coming back. Like yesterday. I'm happy about that. I'm also really excited about Little Mac because as growing up playing Punch Out, it was cool to have this assist trophy, but to actually have him as a legitimate fighter. I'm happy about that, and I'm hoping, as I've naturally intended to, hoping that there's some newer Fire Emblem representation in the game eventually. So we'll see about that. But yeah, so Smash, awesome. Next question. Yes.
Are there going to be more episodes of There Will Be a Brawl? And also, did you have like fun making that show?
I had a lot of fun making the show. It was very hard because we had no funding for the most part. And Los Angeles is not cheap to make anything. Locations are super expensive because everyone jacks up the price to rent anywhere to shoot because they're like, oh, we're in LA, you have millions of dollars, right? If you want to film something, it's like, no, I don't. Like, well, then you can't film here. It's like, oh. So it was a trying process. I probably spent 20 to 40 hours a week on just the web series outside of the rest of my life, and that was obviously not paying anything. I think my gross income I made on There Will Be Brawl was negative $4,000. So, made no money on it. Definitely a passion project. But I wouldn't take it back. It was a wonderful experience. We got to tell these crazy stories with these interesting characters. And some of my best friends to this day I met on set for that project. My writing partner, one of my best friends, Matthew Key, I met him because he auditioned for Luigi and cast him as the character. So, a lot of good came out of that series for me. As far as making more episodes, don't know if it's going to happen. Unfortunately, if those who have seen the series, at the very end, it's kind of hard to make any further episodes because it's very final. Like, definitively, there's the kingdom, so much of the kingdom left by the end. We were attempting to put together a prequel, an animated prequel online. We were working with Machinima and putting together packages with animation tests and stuff to do like a 5-year earlier. For those who aren't familiar, in the series, There Will Be Brawl, it begins with a series of murders that have happened in the Mushroom Kingdom that are copycat murders of the horrible Cannibal Kirby murders that happened 5 years earlier. Kirby in our series is kind of this Hannibal Lecter cannibal character. Because when you consider it, he basically eats people and wears their skin. Which was spurred from when they were these screenshots of Sonic the Hedgehog being in the last Smash game. And Kirby wears everyone's hats when he eats them, but when he eats Sonic, he has like Sonic's disembodied scalp placed on his head. And I was like, that's pretty messed up. So we wanted to do a prequel that was the original Kirby murders and kind of go into his descent into madness, him, corrupting like the Fountain of Dreamland and then coming to the Mushroom Kingdom and watching its downfall from within. But that got too complicated and they had problems with, Machinima is a curious company as far as actually completing anything, so they never actually came to fruition. But I just look back at it happily. We almost did a rap music video. We have an audio file somewhere, like a full There Will Be Brawl rap song we recorded. It was ridiculous. It was awful. It was awesome. Anyway, next question. Yes, sir. And then we'll get to it.
What's a game that you would like to voice act in and anime that is not done currently?
Okay, a game that I would like to voice act in. I would love to be part of any of the BioWare RPGs. I grew up playing Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment, and of course loved Dragon Age, the first one more so than the second, and Mass Effect, the whole series. So, like any of those I would love to be a part of, and I'm still pushing. Or like the Elder Scrolls series as well. Love the Elder Scrolls series. So those would be great. And I'm working on it. I'm hustling, meeting people, trying to get my name in there. Hey guys, if you need me, I'll love you forever. As far as anime goes, there is a recent anime that I was a really big fan of. And there was a character in there that I really wanted to do. And then I got it. So they haven't announced anything yet, so I can't say anything. But there will be announcements soon. But I actually got one of the, before that was Levi. Levi was a character I wanted from the series, and I ended up getting that. I was like, awesome! And this other show, and everyone was like, look at this show. And I watched it, and I went, oh, this show's really cool. This character's really great. And then I got it, and I'm like, this is not supposed to happen! So that's been kind of cool. As far as a series that I can't talk about, I would love for, are they doing a new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I heard like they're doing a recent of that.
Bird Swing.
Yeah, if that actually comes to fruition, I would love to be part of that. That show is crazy. Like that goes back to my very first Anime Expo. I was in high school. It was like my freshman year, 1997, just the freshman year. I'm old. And I went there. One of the first anime I watched in the viewing rooms at my first convention was the original JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And so, like, for being part of that new series, like, complete full circle. So, here's the hoping, if it ever even gets it done. I hope so. You got a question?
Are you related to Alex Mercer from Prototype?
Am I related to Alex Mercer from Prototype?
Hopefully.
I'm like 20% fictional, so I guess it could be in my bloodline. No, but I did audition for him, which made for a very funny slate. Because when you send an audition, you slate your name and the character name at the start, and then you go into the audition. And so I got to do
Who's doing who?
What's it?
Yeah, wait, who's doing who?
Yeah, I was like, this is Matthew Mercer reading for Alex Mercer. Yeah, that's right. That's my name's Mercer, but his name's Mercer. I did this whole long like slate that obviously is why I didn't get cast. So like, who's this guy? But I could not go on the tangent. But yeah, unfortunately, that didn't work out. But alas, I'll look into our family lineage and see if there's something there. Next question. Yes.
Have you seen
Brawl Taunts? Yes, I have. Actually, Kermoferd is much the Nintendo animations had me do a voice as Ganondorf from There Will Be Brawl for one of the shorts as well. But yeah, those are insane. That crew came from the old school Newgrounds Flash animation realm. And I was really big into Newgrounds crew when I was in high school, like the old school Pico and the Teletubbies Funland, all the old Tom Fulp stuff. Yep, all like the late 90s, early 2000s, like that Flash era. I was really not involved in it actually do the animation, but I loved that community. And I watched a lot of those old fan Flash animations, so it was kind of cool to be part of that for a brief moment. I was like, oh yeah, let's do it. So yes. You sir, you look like you need to be in this room. And he kept walking. Fine. No seat for you. Show him. Question.
Is Levi in love with Aaron?
Is Levi in love with Aaron? I don't know.
He's too many germs.
He's a filthy boy. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see down the road. So far in the series, as far as I've recorded at least, I don't think Levi's in love with anyone, except for maybe a little Irving. But just because they have a really tight relationship.
Levi's in love with himself and cleaning.
Yeah, he's in love with a clean countertop and dead Titans.
Please.
I guess we'll see. We'll see as it continues. Question.
It's a bit of a part one, part two thing.
That's okay. We got plenty of time.
Alright. Well, part one. Why are you so beautiful? Why are you so beautiful?
Hereditary.
I'm so disheveled. I've barely slept. You flatter me, thank you. Next part.
And well, the second part is a little more of a request. Can you do a
Do Ganondorf line from W Raw? Okay, let me see if I can remember. It's not quite the same. I don't have a large nose prosthetic and green makeup on with orange hair, but let me see if I can remember ones. What was he good? I'm trying to think of his monologue from episode 3. It's like, you ever heard of Hyrule, my friend? It's a great kingdom. Thirsty for ruled by wisdom, upheld by courage, and hungry for power. Men lived and died by the sword. People went by the weight of their sack. Hyrule was a great kingdom. You know how it fell? Stock trading, economic collapse.
Good.
The eventual downfall of all Hyrule really is the monetary system and the economy they structured for it. That was a fun role. A lot of really cold nights doing monologues in a dark warehouse downtown LA with way too much makeup on.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. I'll get to your question, then we'll get to.
If you were to continue doing There Will Be Brawl, would you think of doing collaborations with like other popular YouTube special effects people like Freddie Wong or stuff like that?
I'd love to if they're available. I've actually been working on a few projects working with a guy named Kyle Natal, or Mega Steak Man. He does a lot of fantastic effects online. He's working with us on 2 web projects. So if we were to go forward with any new Brawl stuff, if it were to happen, it would probably be with him. Either him or Mike Diva. We've also done me and Mike Diva worked on a few projects together. He directed a horror short a couple years ago called Proxy, a Slender Man story. This really, really awesome 10-minute Slender Man horror short online that I star in. And it was really creepy and awesome. Really creepy and awesome. So if you haven't seen that and you want a good freaky short film to watch at night with your lights off, check out Proxy, a Slender Man story. It's pretty rad. And then the next question? Yes?
Mine's also a 2-part question.
2 parts, fine.
Alright. Part 1. Have you been to Disney World?
Have I been to Disney World? Yes, I went when I was very, very young, when I used to live out here, and then I went again recently, a couple years ago, for the Epcot Food and Wine Festival. You know, out here with a few friends, and so we went between the parks, going to Epcot, getting really drunk, then going to Disneyland, and then sobering up, and then coming back to Epcot, and getting really drunk, and back to Disneyland, and sobering up. So it was a good process.
And part 2, what was your favorite ride?
My favorite ride? Oh man, I'm gonna have to say probably the little roller coaster in the Norway area of Epcot Center, because it's just so cheesy. It's just like, welcome to Norway. We had trolls, now they're dead. Norway. That's it. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not true. I'm pretty sure there never were trolls. And they're like, goodbye, have some food. And you're like, okay. So that was pretty great. Other than that, I mean, the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Partially from, I like any ride that ends on a down note. You know, every other ride ends like, you know, fun experience and like character has danger and then everything's fine. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride's like, characters going crazy, oh no, car wackiness, oh you crashed, you die, you go to hell. Enjoy the rest of your day. So I think that's a really twisted story to leave kids on at the end. So that piqued my interest. I was like, this is very not usual Disney. I like this. It takes a risk. Next question. I'll get to you in a second. You?
If you were stuck in an elevator with Leon, what would be the first thing you would tell him, and what do you think he would tell you back?
If I was stuck in an elevator with Leon, what would be the first thing I'd tell him, and what would he say back? I'd say, I'd say, actually, no, the first thing I would say to him is, dude, just take it out. Like, stop this long, drawn-out cat and mouse game. Just grab her and say, let's get a drink. And he'd probably look at me and be like, yeah, well, I gotta find her first. And yeah, I guess there's a problem. It's like, yeah. Anyway, scotch, I like scotch, and we'll go find some scotch, and it'll be fine.
I just tried to change an elevator.
That boy has bad luck with women, which he says repeatedly. Women in like every project.
I would add something else too. Haven't you noticed that every time Leon gets on something that moves, it will either crash or it will fall? Wouldn't you be scared?
Yeah, don't let Leon drive anything. Like perpetual passenger. Every single vehicle he gets in within like 10 seconds, it's just flaming and bus, car, anything, regardless.
Train.
There could be like a future Resident Evil game where he gets on like a kid's four-wheeler, or like like a small tricycle, and somehow it'll like just leak plutonium and then explode and kill everything in a 2-mile radius.
Maybe that's why Ada doesn't want him.
That's true.
She's afraid she's gonna die.
Or no, she says like, Ada's like, I'll date you on one condition, and turns around and there's like a nice little road bike, you know, some sort of like a huffy bicycle with a bow on it. You know, and it's a green machine too. It's good for the environment. So it's a two-pronged attack for him. Next question. Yes. We'll get to it.
I'm sorry I keep asking about floral stuff. But
No, please. It's what's Open QA about? There's no specific thing.
Okay. Have you considered adding Master Hand and Crazy Hand in there or did you not have anything to go with it?
We thought about it when we were kind of developing the end of the series, like Master Hand, Crazy Hand. We kind of more allude to with the, like it was very subtle, but we alluded to it a little bit with the mythology behind the, I can't remember his name suddenly. Digital guy, Mr. Game & Watch, thank you. Well, Mr. Game & Watch is being this like ancient dark force, you know, the pre-3D days, the 2D beasts that once ruled the land, as they're slowly rising up again and kind of this dark power that's bigger than everyone. And we kind of play into that history as like the hand of creation that brought them in, and we more like allude to it being the Crazy Hand or Master Hand being this demigod that's even beyond their realm of understanding.
Hand of creation and hand of destruction.
Yeah, exactly. And it was one of those things where we couldn't really think of a viable way to bring it into the series visually, so we just wanted to make it this ominous kind of almost
Two guys
Mesopotamian deity that is spoke of and feared, but most people don't even know exists or even think it's possible. It's just an old myth. Yeah.
Two guys come dressed in giant glove costumes running in.
Yeah, no, it would have been hard to cast the glove. It's been a little weird casting process.
Start slapping.
That's good. I'm not seeing a pinky. Can we get more pinky for that? Cool. Second take. All right, thanks. Yeah. Everyone turns and looks out the door. I'm like, I'm in my head. Sorry. But yeah, so we wrote it into the mythology of the series, but we didn't really get it done because it didn't really fit. Big hands are weird. Next question. Yes.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon? Mewtwo. Mewtwo, partially because he was the first one to talk and not just say his name. And then he didn't talk, he sounded like some dark, evil British villain, and I was like, yes! I remember seeing the first Pokemon movie in theaters, and I was like, I hope he wins. And I was happy he doesn't. And I cried when Ash turned to stone.
I want you to stop.
No, Mewtwo was awesome, and then they brought him into, of course, Smash, and so I had to take him out as one of my mains. He was just really slow and kind of hard to use, but I got pretty decent with him. There's no Luigi, I mean, just saying.
Luigi Smash.
Yes, Luigi Rocket. It's awesome. But yeah, Mewtwo's, I think, still one of the coolest looking and is kind of the coolest personality. But yeah. Next question. Yes.
Of any character you voice, I'm trying to get the right words. What kind of conversation you would have with that character?
Of all the characters I voice, choose one and
Yeah.
what conversation I would have with them? Well, apart from sitting down Leon and telling him how to deal with women, and properly, date, and stop driving.
Get on.
That's interesting. I'd probably... There's a lot of different conversations that can happen here that are specific to different characters. I'd say the first thing that comes to mind would probably to sit Tiger down with the Thundercats and be like, calm down, buddy. Just let Lino do his thing. You already got the girl. It's fine. Other than that, I'd probably sit down Crom and tell him to stop being such a slut. Because every person I ask, they all get married to someone else in the game. I'm like, man, that guy's getting around.
Someone actually did a lot of prom puns on Tiger.
But did they have a lot of Crom puns?
Oh no. It was a pun.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh man. Although I did get complaints from a friend of mine who was playing through Fire Emblem and was waiting to try and hook up Crom with his main female character. It was like building up, and waiting for the last minute, and then eventually the game just automatically made Crom marry some random NPC. Yeah. And he was so angry, he called me up and was like, dude, just broke my heart. Really? I'm like, whoa, it's like, this whole time I'm like courting you, and I'm like just ready to pop the question, ready to make this happen. And you go with some bitch I've never even met before. I'm like, what? It's like, Fire Emblem. Like, oh, well, I mean, you know, should have put a ring on it, I'm just saying. I know. You snooze, you lose. That was a Ryan Akaba who actually, he's another voice actor. He was playing through the game. He actually voices Kellum in that game. No, the correct answer is who? You guys have played the game, you know Kellum. It's the one that no one can remember.
He's the one who hides all the time,
yep.
and then when Crom is like, oh.
Cool, where'd you come from? Which is kind of great, to look at the cover of the game, Crom's foot is covering his face.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone else is like completely visible except for Kellum, whose face is completely covered by Crom's foot. I love it. It's the subtle things. Next question. Yes.
Has there ever been one favorite movie of yours that ever made you all teary-eyed?
Favorite movie of mine that made me all teary-eyed? Many. I am a sap. I am a sap and a half.
But if you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one that's caused me to tear up the most, I mean, a movie? If I'm picking a movie, I'm probably going to have to say What Dreams May Come. Robin Williams movie. That one is like designed to just like punch you in the stomach and just keep going. And you're just like, you start thinking about all your family and friends and death and all this. That or Neverending Story. Artax and the Swamp of Sadness. That was one of the first movie moments that like deeply affected me when I was a kid. I was just like, he's gone. You know, it was impactful. If I were to pick a non-movie, it would be Tenets for Generation in Doctor Who.
I don't want to go.
That destroyed. Don't even, man. Don't even. Like I'm such a Tenet fan as the 10th Doctor, and that whole end episode of him just walking through the snows, the Song of the Oods playing him off, and he's just like him going and visiting everyone to see them off, and he's just like trying so hard to keep it all in and be stoic through this as he's slowly dying off, and he makes his way in there, and that look on his face like oh, I'm getting verklempt right now. And to the point where I went to the Doctor Who exhibit, the Experience in London when it was there. And I walk through the museum section, I look over and I see an entire replica of the Tenet TARDIS console. I'm like, nice! And I run over and I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's the destroyed version too. This is like, you know, like during the regeneration when he tears up the whole console. And I hear this music playing, and I'm like, that song sounds familiar. And I'll turn around and a giant like jumbo screen playing that sequence. And I'm like, no, not now, not in public. I look around, there's just like a bunch of like 10-year-olds around me and like the one adult on the console. I'm like, yeah, I miss that. Even to the point where they had the 50th anniversary, and then it said like some line very familiar, like, yeah, you know, I don't really want to go. You know, there was something like that at the side, and I was like, no, don't go. Anyway, enough about that. Next question. You have a next question? Yes.
Anime series that
That made me cry? Fate Zero.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, there's a scene towards the end of the series where it goes into the backstory of Kiritsugu, and you kind of understand why he is the way he is. And he's forced to do something really terrible to someone he's like the one person he considers family. And then he has the character that's been so stoic and so emotionally guarded his whole life has a complete emotional breakdown and just like screaming and crying and like yelling at himself. And it's just this horrible, gut-wrenching scene. And we did it in one take. And the whole time, even just leading up to it, like watching all the scenes and the conversations leading up to this moment, you're seeing this moment unfold and the eventuality coming to it. I'm already getting like choked up in the booth going like, oh no, he's not, oh man. And then we get to the moment to do the scene, I'm just like, just roll, Tony, just roll, we got this, go. And then we're right into the scream and the yell, like the crawling and the sobbing, and I'm just tears out of my face, and it finishes, all right, and cut. Cool, do you want to do one for safety? I'm like, no, just give me a minute. Like pulling tissues out, it was bad. But it was a really, really emotional scene. It was, as an actor, you rarely get a treat like that. You rarely get to go to somewhere that emotionally intense for a project, so I thoroughly enjoyed that. And there have been scenes, there's a project I worked on recently, they also haven't announced it, I don't think. It's called Gargantia. It deals with like this god, this kind of future kid is mecha. It's
Gargantua, Virtuous planet.
Yeah, that one. I worked in there somewhere, I can't say, but there's a scene towards the end that did the same thing. I was watching it and I was like, oh, be professional. Be professional, you're in the booth. Okay, I'm good. No, I'm not. You know, it was one of those circumstances. Anyway, next question. You have a question and then we'll get to you.
She asked, was it fun to beat up Aaron in the courtroom?
Was it fun to beat up Aaron in the courtroom? Yes. It was a lot of fun. I called Bryce afterward and was like, I just kicked the shit out of you.
Probably haven't recorded yet.
That was fun. And then I went back to do pickups, because when I recorded that scene, I was the first person to do the second half of the first season. So it was just me. There were no other lines recorded, no other background, nothing. Came back for pickups, and then Mike got a chance to play for me the whole scene with everyone mixed in. And it's just awesome and awesome. And then being able to hear the sounds that Bryce did in reaction to me kicking him repeatedly sounds so painful. It's so awful, and it's so satisfying.
Put him like next to him and started kicking him really hard.
Yeah, it was great. Which is funny, because in real life, Bryce would kick the living crap out of me. He is like a hardcore MMA fighter. I've never seen him lose a fight. I've watched some of his fights on YouTube, and you're like, he's like smiley, awesome dude. It's like, hey, I'm Bryce Papenbrook, and then you see a video of a line of him just destroying some guy in a ring, and you're like, you are Bryce Papenbrook, all right, we're gonna be friends, because I don't want us to not be friends. That was a fun scene. It was a very fun scene to record. And I just saw someone sent me a link. I guess they have these little chibi PVC figures now of Aaron, you know, strapped to the pole in the courtroom, and then one little chibi PVC of Levi with his foot in the air. You can just have this cute little scene of Levi about to beat the crap out of Aaron. You have a question?
If you could voice act any character in the next Smash Brothers, what character would you want to have?
If I could voice any character in the next Smash Bros., what character I want to have?
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of obvious. I would like it to be Chrom. That'd be cool.
No Gigas or Ganondorf or anything like that?
Okay, well, no. In a theoretical circumstance, if they did put, like, Brawl Ganondorf in there, that would be amazing. And actually, some amazing person on DeviantArt did a bunch of sketches of Ganondorf from There'll Be Brawl doing different fight attacks and stuff from Smash Brothers, and it looks awesome. It looks so good. And it just made me be like, oh, if they only knew. Other than that, if they could put Gygas which, by the way, for those who played Earthbound, representing some of the world's most creepy boss right here.
All you can do is pray.
All you can do is pray. But I would love to have that.
Assist trophy as a Gigas.
Oh man, of course the voiceover for that, the voice would just be like rambling words that don't make sense and like, you know.
Speak a full speech and they just bend it.
Awful freakies. Because he's just crazy. It's a crazy deity. That'd be kind of fun. Man, I'd love for them to do an updated Earthbound. There's just more Earthbound content. Great.
Earthbound 64 was canceled.
Next question.
What advice would you give to beginning actors, voice actors?
Advice to beginning actors and voice actors. For beginning voice actors, my first major thing of advice is to learn to act. Train on that. You know, it's great to be able to do a lot of funny character voices and silly impressions and stuff, but the baseline of all voiceover is a strong base of acting experience and understanding. Classes and workshops on character study and scene study, learning how to interpret copy, how to establish what beats are emotional beats in a scene. Understanding that when a scene begins, you have to already have prepared where you're coming from and where you're going, what a character's intent is, and subtext. And then just having experience, getting comfortable performing. These are all things that are so important. So if you're already training as an actor, then you're already on a good path for that. Then you can apply the funny voices. Other than that, to make a career out of it, it's something you have to really be passionate about and be willing to go all in on, because it is hard. It is not easy. It's great, but it's hard. I mean, I can't tell you how many years in Los Angeles, living in the tiniest of, studio apartments with a kitsch, which is what I call my kitchen, but it wasn't really a kitchen, it was too small, so I called it a kitsch. Finding creative ways to flavor your ramen, whatever type of, as long as you have enough calories to survive, you're fine. That's what it comes down to for a while. So like, it's something you have to be able to exist with the difficulty and patience and get used to dealing with rejection. Life as an actor, even successful actors, many of us here and many fantastic voice actors and on-screen actors, 90% of your job is rejection. You're going out to all these auditions, and it doesn't mean that you're not as good as these people, but it's a numbers game. It doesn't mean that you're not they're not good for the role, it just means that you're not exactly what they're looking for. And you're up against hundreds of other people that are also training and working towards these goals. And so you have to keep yourself competitive. You have to constantly be open to learning and improving yourself. Never rest on your laurels. I'm still learning. I just took classes a couple weeks ago on commercial reads and stuff, because you can always keep improving yourself. And you also have to kind of go where the work is to really make a career out of it. There are only a few places in the world that have enough local work that can sustain a lifestyle. So if you want to do like commercial work in radio or work in like radio, there's a lot more opportunities, because radio stations are scattered in specific locations and communities all around the country. To go into animation, video games, there are only like New York, Canada, some places in Texas, and Los Angeles. So you also have to be willing to make the move to where the work is and be prepared for those crazy lifestyles that involve being a poor-ass actor in a big city surrounded by other poor-ass actors that are equally hungry. So if that's the type of equation you're ready to take on full force, grinning, and you just ready to just make it happen, then you're ready to start working towards a career in voiceover. And go for it. Kick ass. I'll see you in the booth, and if you're going after the same role I'm going after, I'll cut your tires.
Take you on.
No, actually voiceover is one of the most welcoming communities I've seen as far as acting goes. On camera can be very cutthroat and very kind of like psyching each other out. And there are some wonderful people that work on camera, but there are a lot of also not very nice people who work on camera. That's just kind of the community. Voiceover, for the most part, everyone I've ever met or worked with has been really, really sweet, welcoming, awesome. A few exceptions, but for the most part, it's pretty awesome. You have a question?
Speaking of which, I said like all college American, I guess, what's the biggest flub or blooper that you've ever kind of done doing a voice? Like, you said a line and all these things come.
Biggest flub or blooper I've ever done? Oh boy, there's been a lot. A lot of times if you flub a line, you'll just start improving off of it. You have to say like, come here, fight me. Like, come here, fight me. How my teeth fell out. You just go on these tangents for a while, and sometimes they match the flap. One I can think of was actually from Fire Emblem Awakening. For the ending sequence, for like the final line, there's this whole CG sequence where it's like POV of your main character, and Crom kind of picks you up by the hand and looks you in the eyes and says a line. And the English translation wasn't matching the lip flap, because as opposed to like anime lip flap where it's just kind of moving lips, it was very articulately animated to match the Japanese consonants and vowel sounds and everything. And the English phrase we had originally in the script didn't quite fit. And so Patrick Seitz, the director, is like trying to think of one that'll work, we try one and it doesn't work, and he's talking with the producer, and they're kind of brainstorming, and I'm watching them play it over and over again. I'm like, I got it. Guys, just roll. And it's like, yeah, all right, cool, let's go. And they go and they start, beeps go off, and Crom looks down and picks up the player and looks in their eyes, and I'm saying to the mic, and it fits perfectly, I can see your butthole. So we didn't keep that take. But if you get a chance, go on YouTube and find that ending sequence and think of that phrase, and you'll see, wow, that matches the lip flap. It's kind of awesome. Other than that, the only thing I can think of was I was working on a game called Ken's Rage. It's a Fist and North Star game that came out a couple years ago, and I played. I played a character. That one it was. No, it was Ray. It was Ray. The guy with kind of the teal hair, the bladed fingers. Yeah, he says, that guy. Yeah. So he cuts people up with his fingertips, like blades. And one of the lines for the English translation, I guess, didn't quite get interpreted yet. Usually the scripts go through someone who reads the base translation and then interprets it for the American audience to be a little more natural sounding English. This one got overlooked. And of course, we're reading lines very quickly, so I didn't really have a chance to proofread it. We're just kind of going from line to line to line with minimal context. And I get to that line, it's a combat line, and I get ready, beeps go down, and I look down and read it for the first time out loud, and it's, there's no way you can keep me from getting my fingers inside you.
Did I really just...
And I look over at the director looks at me, looks over at the producer looks back at him. The director looks back at me, leans in over the mic and goes, sit tight, we're gonna rewrite that real fast.
Next Fist and North Star, that's the blackmail on you.
Oh yeah, oh no. Nobody in this industry has more blackmail on actors than the audio engineers. They save every outtake, they save every mess up, every silly improv line. They have us by the proverbial balls.
Respect your sound engineer, they will kill you.
You make friends with your sound engineer for a reason. You don't want to give them a reason to ruin your career. Next question. Yes.
Who is your favorite WWE superstar, and would you ever consider coming to Monday Night Raw?
My favorite WWE superstar? I grew up with the love for The Undertaker. Always have. Except I know, the whole recent thing, the whole loss was ridiculous, and I don't know, that was a whole...
Tested.
I know, well, yeah. I have thoughts on that I can go on for a while, but no, he was loved mine long ago. As was Andre the Giant growing up. Bless him.
My favorite's Batista.
Batista?
Yeah,
Batista's
I actually
pretty
have a
great.
huge crush on him.
There you go. Would I go see it? Yes, I would if I had the chance. My friend Max Landis is a huge WWE. I grew up with WF back when that was a thing, guys, so I still every now and then get a little mixed up. But yeah, he goes and sees those shows out in LA a lot, so I plan to at some point. You know, we did watch WrestleMania a few years ago, like a big old house party with him, so. But anyway, so yes, Undertaker and yes. And you had a question?
Yes, I was going to ask, was it a little bit difficult to make Anarchy sound so young? Because I couldn't recognize your voice, because your voice is usually a little bit more deep, and he sounds so young.
Yeah, thank you. It's not necessarily difficult, just keeping the younger range. You know, it's about the placement of the voice. So for younger characters, you know, like Anarchy, he's just more in this realm and just kind of keeps it intense, but he's still making sure that you understand what he's talking about. Because this government's going to take us down. Unless you rise up and speak out against your masters that are trying to keep you in perpetual economic slavery. I stand corrected. Yeah. So it's finding where to place the voice and how to close the throat in certain places where it pitches it up and keeps it comfortable. So for long diatribes, it can get a little tiring on the throat if you're doing that for a long period of time. But that was a lot of fun. Anarchy was a lot of fun. And actually, I just heard from some of the guys from the Montreal studio that did that. And we did 2 sessions with Anarchy, finished recording and what I thought was done, and they had nothing else for him. But the head of the project, the director, liked the character so much that they wrote a whole bunch more dialogue and had it like this whole radio station for his long rants and everything. And I was like, yes, more anarchy. I was so happy. So, and they said if he ever comes back in any future games, they'll call me back in. And I'm like, you better, because I really enjoyed that. It was fun. All right, you haven't asked a question yet, so.
Was there a specific character that you really, really enjoyed doing, or like, is there a specific favorite of yours that how they had ran it that you liked it, or like just favorite characters overall that you did?
That's it's like picking children. Like, there were many that I really enjoy. I really enjoyed Alvin from Tales of Exilia, because he just has such this nonchalant swagger to him. This sort of like, he's always relaxed, but somewhat smarmy and slightly devious. I don't know. There's something, just the placement of him during the sessions always had this kind of like, all right, well let's go and kill some things. Hey Jude, you think Emilio's really into bondage? You know, yeah, he's just, I don't know, he's just a lot of fun. We got to play with the skits, and he was a blast recording for. Leon Kennedy, I was a fan of from previous Resident Evils, so I was already like, even just to step into those shoes was really big geek-centric, yeah! So that was a lot of fun. Tiger was a blast because I grew up with Thundercats, and because getting to work with the whole cast involved with that show was brilliant. We had Will Friedle doing Lionel, Kevin Mike Richardson doing Panther, Emmanuel Shrieky from Entourage as Chitara, D. Bradley Baker, Corey Burton, and then like a cycling bevy of actors from film and television that I love. And so it was just this constant ability to work with my peers and people that I've looked up to for so long. So the recording for Thundercats was extremely affecting and wonderful. And that show will always have a special place in my heart. So I didn't pick a single one because I can't. Question.
If you could pick one book for you to be able to do to basically do an audio book narrating or something like that, what would it be?
If I could pick one book to do audio narrative? Oh, that's hard. I love reading. How many of you guys read?
I worked at a bookstore too.
All right, those of you who have your hands down, you should read more. Good. I know, like video games and television are great, but oh my god, nothing beats a good book. I sound so old, but I can't help it. Like, I love reading. I've been too busy to read and I feel bad. Oh, it's hard to pick. I would say, I'll pick 3. Because I'm gonna cop out on all of these, it's hard for me to pick a single one. House of Leaves, which is an incredible psychological horror book that is, but even an audiobook wouldn't work for that because part of what's scary about it is the formatting of the actual text and like the index and stuff. Never mind, I already said that. That one can't even be done as an audiobook, but I just love the book, so I said that. I would say probably On a Pale Horse by Piers Anthony, part of the Incarnations of Immortality series. Really great fantasy novel series. That one's great. The first Myst book, Book of Atris, based on the Myst video games.
Yeah.
Those are really good book series. I love that. And then, this is hard. Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett, the Discworld series. Terry Pratchett, another great British writer, very Monty Python, Douglas Adams type style. But yeah, so those, if I had to pick off the cuff, would be my 3 choices. With House of Leaves, wherever even possible. Next question. Yes, you haven't asked a question yet.
Okay, mine has nothing to do with it. It's just funny, so I asked everything else.
Oh, they'd be like, your panel's over, you gotta go.
No, that's it. What's the best and worst pickup line you've ever told somebody? Either yourself or a character?
The best and worst pickup line I've ever told or heard?
Whichever you got.
Oh, if I've ever told, all of them. I'm just bad at that.
Can you give an example?
I'm not. I don't pick up. That's the problem. I'm not like, hey, how's it going? I'm the guy who's like, hey, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Let's just be friends. And then if anything comes to that, that's cool. But it wasn't the intent. So I don't pick up. I don't have a pickup. Yeah. It's a problem. No, but it's fine because I have a lot of female friends that way. Works out well. I'm the master of the friend zone.
No,
I got that shit on lock.
Me too.
Well, I don't know. I feel, especially being in Los Angeles, there's so much disrespect for women in the whole like nightlife scene, the whole club and bar scene. There's just this whole meat market sensation that I feel really disgusted by a lot of times. Not all of it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with people going out and drinking and dating. Like I have a lot of friends that I'm wingman for all the time, you know. But like, there's just a lot of it's very aggressive and very unwanted, and so I naturally, to avoid that, just don't do any of it. And as such, I'm like a serial monogamist, and like dating is so foreign to me anyway.
That's awesome.
Pickup lines that I've heard that have been interesting usually involve like, "What's your favorite drink?" And they'd be like, "Long Island iced tea." They'd be like, "Cool, we're both getting one." And I'm like, "Hi, who are you?" This wasn't really a pickup line, but I did have a fan at a convention once pretend she was really, really drunk and needed me to help her back to her room. And then when I got there, she turned around on me totally sober and grabbed my junk.
Oh my God.
That's a literal pickup. Like she probably lifted me a good half an inch off the ground with her hand. And also my response to those awkward pickups is to go super formal. I know this from high school. Whenever I'd like have a girl over or watching a movie and she'd be like, "Hey, let's pull around," and I'd be like, I apologize, but I must sincerely decline your offer. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I still do that to this day. So when the girl did that, I was like, "I am flattered by your intent, but I sincerely must acquiesce that I am unable to indulge in your intent. I do wish you a fine evening." Like, I go super formal. I'm so awkward. I'm so awkward.
I know how you feel.
So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
I got a funny one to share from one of the cast from Lost Girl.
Yeah.
It's man, I don't know if he heard this or told it to somebody, but it's hilarious. If you were a booger, I'd pick you first.
That is so bad.
How could you turn that down? It's a bullseye.
It's horrible and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those things like at first you're like, oh, and then you're like, that takes balls, man. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna date you, but I'll get you a drink. Like I guess I dig that. Don't use it on me. Is there another panel after this?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I think that's it.
We'll keep going till they kick me out. How about that? So yeah, next question. We'll go here, and then we'll go to there, and then we'll come over here to you guys. So.
How did you feel when you got that letter from the guy who created the Metal Gear Solid 5?
Oh yeah. So I've been working on Metal Gear 5, Ground Zeroes, and Phantom Pain, doing a bunch of different characters and soldier work, and just a lot of sessions on it. I'm a huge Metal Gear fan from like way back in the day. We're talking like the first Metal Gear on NES. To the point where back
John.
I know. Even like back in 2006, I waited for hours out in front of a GameStop with a bunch of my friends so I can get Hideo Kojima and Yoji Shinkawa to sign my copy of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. So, I mean, once again, reiterating, huge nerd. And so being able to work on Phantom Pain, and then going into my mail one day and I have this manila envelope and I open it up and it's a personalized letter from Hideo Kojima written to me with a copy of the game saying, "Thank you so much for being a part of Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain. I hope you enjoy this. Look forward to working with you in the future." Signed, Hideo Kojima has his signature, and I was like, "Oh,
Kept you waiting, huh?
I can't put this in a frame fast enough. There's no glass that could withstand the force in which I would slap this into it." Oh my God, it was such a nerdgasm. You don't even know. So to have to go from that to have a personalized letter from Hideo Kojima show up in my mail, I'm still comprehending that. I'll be 65 and comprehending that. We just staring blankly at a wall on a wheelchair somewhere. Like, "You okay, Matt?" I'm like, "You wrote me a letter." That's what's gonna happen. Next question. We're gonna go over here.
In like 4 minutes, by the way. But
Is there?
No
Okay.
one is here, so
I'll wait till they show up.
yeah.
Yes.
What's your favorite quote from Doctor Who?
A favorite quote from Doctor Who? Oh, there's many. I have a number of T-shirts of Alonzi. Alonzi.
Alonzi.
And Drummo, of course, the basis on that. There's a lot of good stuff in there. It's hard to pick one. I have to go back and watch through. I love Tennant's rant in the Devil Pit or the Hell Pit two-parter, the first Tennant season. his whole like angry tangent about the evil of man is one of my favorite Tenet moments. I'm just like, yes, this is what happens when you get a freaking theater actor and just let him go for a while. So I love that scene. Of course, I can't quote it. There's a lot of great Tenet stuff and some Smith stuff. I feel the show suffered when Davies left. I love Moffat and I love Davies, but I think they had a really good checks and balances system between the two of them. And if one or the other is left purely to their own devices, they tend to spiral out of control. So I feel that Matt Smith is a very talented actor, and I feel that he could have had better material to work with on some of his episodes. But you know, when you're writing that and Sherlock and everything else, you can't help but be a little crazy. Moffat's a little crazy. So anyway, you back there, and then we'll come to you.
What's your opinion of the new Doctor coming up?
Oh, I cannot wait! Cannot wait! Oh my God!
Series 8 trailer came out last night.
I saw that. I saw that it went up. I haven't watched it. But no, understand, as a guy who grew up with Baker as his first Doctor, like I love the love stories. I love the young Doctors. You know, it's great. I feel that the love story elements got too weird and too messy as it went on, and the whole like Amy pun and Doctor thing got weird. I would like to see it pull back from that and put the Doctor in more of a professorial role, where there's no romantic tension. It's just two companions going through chaos in space-time, and I like the blustery kind of kinetic energy of my brain isn't working today, so I can't remember the actor's name suddenly. The new Doctor puts the P.
Peter Capaldi.
Capaldi, sorry, Peter Capaldi, thank you. Capaldi, I'm so excited about. I think it was a great choice, and with a little bit they showed at the end of the last season, I'm like, all right, I'm down with this. This could be a new era of Who for me. So I'm excited. You question, and then we'll move to you guys.
What was your first Doctor and your? It's kind of two parts. What is your first Doctor and your favorite Doctor?
First Doctor, probably, pretty sure was Baker. Back when I used to play at like 5:30 in the morning when I was getting up for school and getting ready. And I was one of those weird kids where everyone else is waking up and watching cartoons. I'd get up before cartoons, so I could watch old Doctor Who, Perry Mason, black and white court drama from like the 60s, and then cartoons. So that doesn't describe how strange a person I am. I don't know what else will. Favorite Doctor, I'm still going to lean Tenet. I have to.